The rain fell hard on the broken streets of Seoul. Ji-won pulled his coat tighter around his body as he walked past the burned buildings and empty cars. The city looked dead now. 5 years ago it had been full of life and noise and people. Now it was just ruins and silence. He carried a heavy bag on his back. Inside were medicine bottles and bandages he had found in an old hospital. His sister Hana needed them. She was sick and the resistance camp had no supplies left. Ji-won had to get these medicines to her before it was too late. The Velrathi had come from the stars 5 years ago. Their ships had filled the sky like dark clouds. They said they came in peace. They said they wanted to help humanity join the galactic community. But that was a lie. Within weeks, their soldiers were everywhere. Within months, Earth belonged to them. Ji-won used to be a soldier himself. He had served in the Korean Special Forces before the invasion. He had fought hard in the first days of the war. But human weapons did nothing against Velrathi armor. Human tanks exploded like toys against their ships. The war lasted only 3 weeks. Now he was just another survivor trying to stay alive. He turned a corner and stopped. His heart sank. Ahead of him was a checkpoint. 4 Velrathi soldiers stood under a metal archway. Their tall bodies were covered in hard shells that looked like insect armor. They had 4 arms each. Blue lights glowed under their skin in strange patterns. Their faces had too many eyes. Ji-won thought about running. But running meant death. The Velrathi shot anyone who ran. He touched the papers in his pocket. They were fake identity documents. A forger in the underground had made them for him. They said he was a factory worker named Lee Taeman. They said he lived in Sector 7, Block 14. He walked forward slowly. His legs felt heavy. One of the soldiers raised a weapon. It looked like a rifle but glowed with orange light. Another soldier held up a scanner device. The other 2 watched him with their many eyes. Ji-won stopped in front of them. He kept his hands where they could see them. The soldier with the scanner made a clicking sound. A metal disc on its chest began to speak. The voice was flat and emotionless. Identification papers now. Ji-won handed over his fake documents. The soldier took them with 2 of its 4 hands. The other 2 hands stayed on its weapon. The scanner beeped and hummed as it read the papers. Ji-won tried to stay calm. His heart was beating so fast he thought they might hear it. Sweat ran down his back despite the cold rain. The medicine bag felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Purpose of travel? The translator device asked. Going home from work, Ji-won said. His voice almost broke. The lead soldier, the biggest one with gold markings on its shell, stepped closer. It grabbed Ji-won's shoulder with one hand. The grip was strong enough to hurt. With another hand, it pulled at Ji-won's coat collar. That was when everything changed. The collar moved aside. The soldier saw Ji-won's neck. Its many eyes went wide. The hand on Ji-won's shoulder started to shake. On Ji-won's neck was a mark. 3 triangles inside a circle. The lines glowed with soft white light that seemed to come from under his skin. The mark had appeared 2 years ago. Ji-won did not know what it meant. He always kept it hidden. The lead soldier made a loud hissing sound. It let go of Ji-won and stepped back. The other 3 soldiers raised their weapons higher. Lower weapons, the lead soldier said in its own language. The translator device struggled to keep up. Lower them now. The other soldiers looked confused but obeyed. Their weapons pointed at the ground. They all stared at the mark on Ji-won's neck. The lead soldier spoke again. This time it used broken Korean words instead of the translator. You are one of the marked? Ji-won did not know what to say. His mind was full of questions and fear. How did this alien know about his mark? What did it mean? Was he about to die? I do not understand, Ji-won said. The soldier looked at the others. They made clicking sounds to each other. One of them touched a device on its arm and spoke quickly in their language. Ji-won heard fear in their voices, fear in something else, something that sounded like respect. The lead soldier looked back at Ji-won. It returned his fake papers. You need to come with me, it said in Korean. Not under arrest. For your safety. Others will look for you. Others who want to kill you. I have to get medicine to my sister, Ji-won said. She is sick. The soldier was quiet for a moment. Then it took the medicine bag from Ji-won's shoulder. Where is she? Ji-won knew he should not tell them. But something in the soldier's voice made him answer. Busan, the underground camps. The soldier gave the bag to one of the others and spoke in their language. That soldier ran off into the rain with the bag. The lead soldier turned back to Ji-won. My soldier will deliver the medicine. He is fast, faster than you could walk. Your sister will have it in 2 hours. Why are you helping me? Jiwan asked. Because of that mark, the soldier said. It pointed at Jiwan's neck. My name is Thelvix. I am a commander in the Velrathi Imperial Forces. And that mark on your neck is older than my entire civilization. It is older than most stars in this galaxy. Jiwan touched his neck. The mark felt warm under his fingers. What does it mean? It means you are descended from the ones who made the universe tremble, Thelvix said. It means you are one of the progenitors chosen. And it means that everything my empire told us about humans was a lie. Thelvix looked up at the dark sky. Rain ran down its shell. Come with me. I will take you somewhere we can talk safely. There are things you need to know. Things about your mark, things about what is coming. What if I say no? Then by tomorrow you will be dead, Thelvix said simply. My people have been searching for anyone with that mark for 5,000 years. They find one every few centuries. They always kill them, always. You have stayed hidden well. But now I have seen it. Others will see it too. You are out of time. Jiwan thought about Hana, about the resistance, about all the things he still needed to do. But he also thought about the fear in Thelvix's voice, about the way the other soldiers had stepped back when they saw his mark. Whatever this mark was, it scared these aliens. And anything that scared the Velrathi might be the only hope humanity had left. Okay, Jiwan said. I will come with you. Thelvix nodded. It gestured for Jiwan to follow. As they walked away from the checkpoint, Jiwan looked back one last time at the ruins of his city. The mark on his neck pulsed with light warm against his cold skin. He did not know it yet, but his life as a survivor hiding in the shadows was over. A different life was beginning. One that would change everything. Thelvix led Jiwan through dark alleys and empty buildings. They walked for almost an hour. The rain never stopped. Finally, they reached an old subway station. The entrance was half buried under rubble. Thelvix moved the broken concrete aside like it weighed nothing. His forearms made the work easy. Inside the station was black as night. Thelvix touched a device on his wrist. Soft blue light filled the tunnel. They walked down the old stairs to the platform below. A small Velrathi shuttle waited there. It was the size of a truck but shaped like a teardrop. Thelvix opened a door and gestured for Jiwan to enter. Jiwan hesitated. Everything in his body told him not to get in that ship. But he thought about what Thelvix had said, about being hunted, about being killed. He climbed inside. The interior was strange. The seats were too tall for humans. The controls glowed with symbols Jiwan could not read. Thelvix sat in the pilot seat and touched several panels. The shuttle lifted off the ground without any sound. It moved forward through the tunnel faster than any train. Where are we going? Jiwan asked. To a place where we cannot be heard, Thelvix said. The Empire monitors everything in the cities. Every sound, every movement. Out in the dead zones we will be safe to talk. They flew through the subway tunnels for 10 minutes. Then the shuttle rose up through a broken section and emerged into the night. They were outside the city now. Below them stretched empty fields and dark forests. This land had been farms once. Now nothing grew here. The Velrathi had taken everything. Thelvix landed the shuttle near the edge of a forest. He shut down the engines and turned to face Jiwan. I need to tell you a story, Thelvix said. A story about your people. Your real people. I know about humans, Jiwan said. We have our own history. No, you have the history you remember. But your species is much older than you think. Thelvix touched his wrist device again. A hologram appeared in the air between them. It showed a map of the galaxy. 10,000 years ago, this galaxy was ruled by beings called the progenitors. They looked like you. They were humans. But they had technology that made them like gods. They could move planets. They could create stars. They had weapons that could destroy entire solar systems. The hologram changed. It showed great ships flying between stars, cities that floated in space, worlds covered in gleaming towers. The progenitors created many servant species to help them maintain their empire. My people, the Velrathi, were one of them. We were made to be soldiers and workers. There were others too. Dozens of species across the galaxy, all created by your ancestors. Jiwan stared at the hologram. It was hard to believe. Humans could barely survive now. How could they have once ruled the stars? What happened to them, he asked. Thelvix was quiet for a moment. The hologram changed again. This time it showed something dark, a massive shape that seemed to eat the light around it. Something came from beyond our galaxy. We call it the Devourer. The progenitors called it many names. All the names meant the same thing: death, hunger, the end. The hologram showed the dark thing spreading across the galaxy, worlds going dark, stars dying. The progenitors fought a war against the Devourer. It lasted for 1,000 years. Entire regions of space were destroyed. Billions died. In the end, the progenitors won. But the cost was terrible. Their empire was broken. Their people were scattered. The progenitors who survived did two things. First, they trapped the Devourer in a prison made of collapsed stars and folded space. They locked it away where it could never escape. Second, they hid themselves. They erased their history. They destroyed their weapons and their cities. They spread across the galaxy and became primitive again. They wanted to make sure that if the Devourer ever escaped, it would find nothing. No empire to destroy. No technology to steal. Thelvix pointed at G1. Your people on Earth are descended from one group of progenitors. You forgot who you were. You forgot your power. You became small and weak and safe. For 10,000 years you lived in peace. Until you came, G1 said. Yes, until we came. Thelvix made a sound like a sigh. My people forgot too. We forgot that we were made by the progenitors. We found old progenitor technology and thought we had invented it ourselves. We became powerful. We built an empire. We conquered dozens of worlds. And when you found Earth, you thought we were just another primitive species to conquer. Yes, Thelvix said. But some of us knew the truth. The High Command has kept ancient records. They know about the progenitors. They know about the Devourer, and they know about the marks. Thelvix pointed at G1's neck. Before the progenitors scattered, they created a failsafe. They built weapons and ships and hid them across the galaxy, and they left behind genetic markers, a way to find those who could activate the ancient technology. The marks appear randomly. 1 in every billion humans might carry the genetic code. When that person comes near progenitor technology, the mark activates. G1 remembered. 2 years ago, he had been with his squad in the mountains. They had been looking for a place to hide supplies. They had found a cave. Inside the cave was something impossible. A ship, not Velrathi. Something else. Something ancient. G1 had gone inside. He had touched a wall that glowed like crystal. Pain had shot through his body. He had felt like he was burning. When he woke up, the mark was on his neck. His squad had thought he was dying, but after a few hours he had felt fine. Better than fine, stronger, faster. I found a ship, G1 said quietly. In the mountains. A progenitor facility, Thelvix said. The mark means you are compatible with their technology. You can activate weapons and ships that have been sleeping for 10,000 years. You are the key. Why do your people want to kill anyone with a mark? Because we are afraid, Thelvix said simply. The High Command knows what will happen if humans find their ancient weapons. Your people will stop being weak. You will remember who you are. The Velrathi Empire will fall. Every species we have conquered will be free. We will go back to being what we were, servants, tools. Thelvix looked at his own hands, all 4 of them. I spent my whole life believing we were superior, that we had earned our empire, but we are just using technology we did not make, technology we do not even understand. Everything about our civilization is a lie built on the ruins of yours. Why are you telling me this? G1 asked. Why help me? Because something worse is coming, Thelvix said. The hologram changed again. It showed the dark shape of the Devourer in its prison. My people have been expanding our empire for 5,000 years. We have been mining asteroids and breaking apart dead worlds for resources. 3 months ago, our deep space miners found something, a structure in the outer dark. They started mining it for metals. Thelvix's voice became quiet. They did not know what it was. But I recognized it from the old records. They were mining the Devourer's prison. They have weakened the seals. Not enough to break them. Not yet, but in 10 years, maybe 20, the Devourer will wake up. And when it does, it will consume everything. The Velrathi. The humans. Every living thing in this galaxy will die. G1 felt cold. Can it be stopped? Maybe. The old records speak of a dead fleet. 12 great warships that the progenitors built and hid. If they can be found and activated, they might be powerful enough to stop the Devourer, or at least strengthen the prison. But only the marked can activate them. How many marked people are there? The records say 7 must gather. 7 marked humans working together can wake the fleet, but finding them will be hard. The High Command is hunting them. There is an inquisitor named Vrask. He has spent 300 years tracking down and killing the marked. He is very good at his job. And you want me to find the others before he does? Yes, I have information that might help. Locations where progenitor facilities might be hidden, but you must move quickly. Vrask will know about you soon. My squad saw your mark. I can trust them to stay quiet for a while, but not forever. G1 looked out the window at the dark forest. Somewhere out there, his sister Hana was getting the medicine. Somewhere out there, people were fighting to survive. He had spent 5 years just trying to stay alive. Now this alien was telling him he needed to save the galaxy. Why should I trust you? G1 asked. You should not, Thelvik said. I am your enemy. My people destroyed your world, but I am telling you the truth. You can feel it, can you not? That mark on your neck, it is trying to wake up, trying to remember. Your body knows what you are, even if your mind does not believe it yet. Thelvix was right. The mark had been changing, growing warmer. Sometimes G1 saw strange things in his dreams. Cities in the sky, ships made of light, words in a language he did not know but somehow understood. If I do this, G1 said, if I find the others and wake this fleet, what happens to your empire? It falls, Thelvik said without hesitation. And it should. We do not deserve what we have taken. G1 sat in silence for a long time. Finally, he nodded. Okay, help me find the others. Help me wake the dead fleet. I will, Thelvik said. But first I need to get you somewhere safe. The Resistance. The ones hiding in Busan, take me to them. G1 laughed. It was not a happy sound. You want me to bring you to the Resistance? They will kill you the moment they see you. Let them try, Thelvik said. You will need their help. And they will need mine. If we are going to stop what is coming, humans and Velrathi, most the underground camp was hidden beneath the ruins of Busan. Once this had been a subway station and maintenance tunnels. Now it was home to 300 people who refused to surrender. They had turned the darkness into a place where humans could still be free. G1 led Thelvix down through a hidden entrance. The Velrathi had to walk bent over because the tunnels were built for humans. His armor scraped against the concrete ceiling. Voices echoed ahead. Then someone shouted, "Enemy!" We have an enemy in the tunnels. Suddenly, 20 people surrounded them with weapons. Most had rifles taken from dead Velrathi soldiers. Others held pipes and knives and anything else that could kill. They all pointed their weapons at Thelvix. A woman pushed through the crowd. She was in her 30s with short black hair and scars on her face. She wore the remains of a South Korean military uniform. Ji-won knew her. Captain Yoon Mirai. She had been a helicopter pilot before the invasion. Now she led the Busan resistance. Ji-won, Mirai said. Her voice was hard. Why did you bring one of them here? He helped me, Ji-won said. He knows things. Important things. He is Velrathi. They lie. This one is different. Mirai looked at Thelvix. She did not lower her weapon. Give me one reason why I should not kill you right now. Thelvix stood very still. All 4 of his hands were visible and empty. Because in 20 years, everyone in this tunnel will be dead. Your children will be dead. Every human and every Velrathi in the galaxy will be dead. Unless we work together. Is that a threat? It is the truth. Ji-won stepped between them. Please, Mirai, let him speak. I have seen things. He showed me things. About humans. About who we used to be. Mirai stared at Ji-won for a long moment. Then she gestured with her rifle. Fine, but if he tries anything, I will shoot him myself. Everyone, lower your weapons. But stay alert. They moved deeper into the camp. Ji-won saw familiar faces. People he had known before the invasion. People he had fought beside in the early days. They all looked at Thelvix with hate and fear. They reached a large chamber that had once been a train platform. Now it held sleeping mats and supply boxes, and a few electric lights powered by stolen Velrathi generators. About 50 people gathered to hear what Thelvix had to say. Ji-won told them everything. About the checkpoint. About his mark. About the progenitors and the devourer and the dead fleet. As he spoke, he pulled down his collar to show them the glowing triangles on his neck. Most people did not believe him. They argued and shouted. But 3 people stayed quiet and listened carefully. One was Park Dae-ho. He was a young man about Ji-won's age. He had been an engineering student before the invasion. Now he spent his time taking apart Velrathi technology and figuring out how it worked. He was the one who kept their generators running. The second was Kim Sora. She had been an Air Force pilot like Mirai. She was younger, maybe 25, and she still had hope in her eyes. She led the scouts who went out to find supplies and map Velrathi patrols. The third was Choi Byung. He was the oldest person in the camp, maybe 70 years old. Before the invasion, he had been a professor. He taught history. Now he kept records of everything that happened. He said it was important for future generations to know the truth. When Ji-won finished speaking, Byung stepped forward. "I believe him," the old man said. Everyone turned to look at him. "I have studied the old stories all my life," Byung continued. "Korean legends speak of warriors marked by heaven. The Hwarang warriors of ancient times were said to bear sacred symbols. There are similar stories in Chinese and Japanese histories. Warriors with marks that glowed. Warriors with strength beyond normal humans. I always thought they were just myths. But maybe they were memories, and memories of what?" Mirai asked. "Of the progenitors," Byung said. "If what this Velrathi says is true, then humans have lived on Earth for 10,000 years. Long enough to forget our real history, but not long enough to forget completely. The old stories might be fragments. Pieces of truth passed down through generations." Daeho spoke up. "I have found strange things in Velrathi technology. Components that do not make sense. Designs that are too advanced even for them. I always wondered where they got their technology. If they took it from the progenitors, that would explain everything." Sora nodded. "And I have seen the way Velrathi soldiers act sometimes. Like they are afraid. Like they are hiding something. Maybe this is what they are hiding." Mirai looked around at her people. "Even if this is all true, what can we do about it? We are 300 people with stolen weapons living in a hole. We cannot fight the entire Velrathi Empire." "You do not have to," Delvik said. "You just need to help Ji-won find the other marked. Help him wake the dead fleet. Then humanity will have weapons that can fight." "Where are these other marked people?" Mirai asked. "I have data," Delvik said. He touched his wrist device. A hologram appeared showing a map of Earth. "There are locations where progenitor facilities are likely hidden. If we search these places, we might find others who have activated their marks." Before anyone could respond, alarms started blaring. Someone ran into the chamber. "Velrathi, they found the camp! They are coming down through the north entrance." Chaos erupted. People grabbed weapons and children. Mirai started shouting orders. "Everyone to the emergency exits. Daeho, blow the charges to seal the north tunnel. Sora, get your team to cover the evacuation." Thelvix looked at Ji-won. "Vrask, he must have tracked my shuttle. I am sorry. I have brought death to your people." "Then help us survive," Ji-won said. They ran toward the north tunnel. Ji-won could hear weapons fire now. The sharp crack of human rifles. The buzzing hum of Velrathi plasma weapons. People were screaming. They reached the tunnel entrance and saw the battle. 20 Velrathi soldiers were pushing forward. Their shields glowed as bullets bounced off them. Behind them came something worse. A tall Velrathi in black armor. His shell was covered in carved symbols. His eyes glowed red. "Vrask," Thelvik said. "The Inquisitor." Vrask saw Ji-won. Saw the mark on his neck. The Inquisitor raised one hand and pointed. "Kill everyone else," Vrask said in perfect Korean. "But bring me the marked one alive." The Velrathi soldiers surged forward. Ji-won raised the rifle he had grabbed. He fired at the soldiers, but the bullets did nothing against their shields. More resistance fighters fell. Blood splashed on the concrete. Then something happened to Ji-won. The mark on his neck suddenly burned. It felt like fire under his skin. His vision changed. Strange symbols appeared in the air around him. They glowed like the mark. He could read them somehow. They were instructions, tactical data, weapon specifications, all written in a language he should not know but understood perfectly. One soldier aimed at a girl. She was only 12 years old. She had helped Ji-won find medicine once. Her name was Hana, his sister. Ji-won moved without thinking. The world seemed to slow down. He could see the path of the plasma bolt before it fired. He could see exactly where he needed to be. His body moved faster than should be possible. He reached the soldier before it could fire. Ji-won grabbed the soldier's weapon with both hands. The metal was designed to be too strong for humans to break, but Ji-won's hands crushed it like paper. The soldier stared at him in shock. Ji-won hit it once in the chest. The soldier flew backward into the wall. Its armor cracked. It did not get up. Everyone stopped fighting. They all stared at G1. He looked at his hands. They were glowing with the same light as his mark. He could feel power running through his body. Old power. Ancient power. The power of the progenitors waking up in his blood. "Run!" G1 shouted at the resistance fighters. "Get everyone out! I will hold them here!" Mirai grabbed his arm. "You cannot fight them all alone." "I am not alone," G1 said. He looked at Thelvix. "Help me." Thelvix raised all 4 of his weapons. "For what it is worth, I am sorry about what my people have done to yours." "Apologies later," G1 said. "Fighting now." The other Velrathi soldiers charged. But G1 was not the same person he had been 5 minutes ago. The mark had awakened something in him, something that had been sleeping for 10,000 years. He moved like a storm. Every punch shattered armor. Every kick sent soldiers flying. Thelvix fought beside him. Together they held the tunnel while the humans escaped behind them. Bodies fell. The floor became slick with blood. But they held. Then Vrask entered the fight. The Inquisitor was stronger than the soldiers, faster. His weapons cut through stone like it was air. He struck G1 in the chest and sent him crashing into the wall. 300 years, Vrask said. 300 years I have hunted the marked. I have killed 27 of them. You will be 28. G1 struggled to stand. His ribs were broken. He could feel them grinding. But already the pain was fading. His body was healing, faster than should be possible. Vrask raised his blade to strike the killing blow. Then the tunnel exploded. Daeho had triggered the charges. Tons of concrete fell from the ceiling. G1 grabbed Thelvix and ran. Behind them the tunnel collapsed. Vrask's angry roar was cut off as thousands of pounds of rubble buried him. They emerged into another chamber. The other resistance fighters were there. They stared at G1 like he was something from a legend. "We need to leave." The Velrathi research vessel was called the Deep Walker. It looked like a massive metal fish with glowing ports along its sides. Stealing it had been easier than expected. Thelvix knew the security codes. Most of the crew were scientists, not soldiers. When G1 and the others stormed aboard with weapons, the Velrathi surrendered quickly. Now they had been traveling for 3 days. The Deep Walker could go deeper than any human submarine. It had shields that protected against the crushing pressure of the ocean. They descended slowly through zones of darkness that humans had never seen before. G1 stood in the control room watching the depth meter. 3 miles. 4 miles. 5. The water outside was completely black. Sometimes strange creatures swam past the lights. Fish with teeth like knives and bodies that glowed in the dark. Mirai stood beside him. She had a bandage on her arm from the battle in the tunnels. "Are you sure about this?" "We are going very deep. If something goes wrong, we will die down here." "I am sure," G1 said. But he was not really sure. He was following feelings he did not understand. The mark on his neck kept pulling him forward. Like it knew where they needed to go. Daeho was at the ship's controls with Thelvix. The engineer had learned how to read Velrathi systems surprisingly fast. He said their technology made sense to him now. Like he had known it his whole life but just needed to remember. Sora and a few others were checking weapons in the armory. They did not know what they would find at the bottom. But they wanted to be ready. 6 miles, Daeho called out. "The trench gets narrower here. I need everyone to hold on." The ship shook as it squeezed through a gap in the rocks. Metal groaned. Then they were through. 7 miles, Daeho said. "We are at the coordinates." Scanning for structures. The ship's sensors swept the area. At first there was nothing. Just rocks and mud and darkness. Then the sensors found something. Something big. "Contact," Daeho said. His voice was excited. "There is a structure directly below us. It is enormous. Bigger than anything humans ever built." "Take us down," G1 said. They descended the last few hundred meters. The ship's lights illuminated the ocean floor. And there, half buried in the mud, was something impossible. It was a building. But not like any building G1 had seen. The walls were made of a material that looked like black glass but seemed to shift in the light. The angles were wrong somehow. Looking at it made G1's eyes hurt. Symbols covered every surface. The same symbols he had seen when the mark awakened his power. "This is it," Thelvix said quietly. "A progenitor facility. I have seen pictures in the old records, but seeing one in person is different. How do we get inside?" Mirai asked. G1 already knew. The mark was burning hot on his neck. It was showing him things, showing him the way. Land near that opening. The one that looks like a triangle. I can open it. They landed the ship on the muddy floor. Jiwan, Mirai, Sora, and Thelvik suited up in diving armor. The pressure outside would crush them without protection. They stepped through the airlock and walked across the ocean floor. The water was so cold Jiwan could feel it even through the armor. Strange fish scattered as they approached the structure. He reached the triangular opening and placed his hand on it. The mark on his neck flared with light. The door responded. Lines of light traced across its surface. Then it opened silently. Inside was air. Gravity. The facility had its own life support even after 10,000 years. They removed their helmets and breathed carefully. The air smelled clean. Almost too clean. Like it had been waiting for them. The interior of the facility was beautiful and strange. The walls glowed with soft light. Water did not drip from their suits. It just evaporated. The floor felt solid but looked like it was made of light. They explored the corridors. Everything was empty and silent. Finally, they reached a large chamber. In the center were 2 vertical tanks filled with glowing blue liquid. Inside each tank was a person floating, sleeping, not drowning. "Humans," Mirai whispered. "There are humans in there!" Jiwan approached the tanks. He could see their faces through the liquid.
One was a young man, maybe 19 years old.
The other was a woman in her 30s. Both wore simple white clothes. Both had marks on their necks. 3 triangles in a circle, just like his. "They are marked," Jiwan said. "Like me." "How long have they been in there?" Sora asked. A voice answered. It came from everywhere and nowhere. It spoke in Korean but sounded ancient, like the voice of time itself. 2 years and 7 months for the young one. 3 years and 1 month for the older one. They came to this facility seeking answers. They activated the preservation system. They have been waiting for others to come. "Who are you?" Jiwan asked. "I am the Keeper, the artificial intelligence left by the progenitors to guard this place. I have waited 10,000 years for the mark to return. Can you wake them up?" "Yes, place your hand on the release panel." A panel lit up on the wall. Jiwan touched it. His mark flared. The tanks began to drain. The 2 people inside slowly lowered to the floor. The liquid disappeared. They gasped and opened their eyes. The young man looked around in confusion. "Where am I? What happened?" The woman was calmer. She looked at Jiwan and saw his mark. "You are like us. You are marked." "Yes," Jiwan said. "My name is Jiwan. This is Mirai, Sora, and Thelvix. We are looking for others with the mark." The young man touched his own neck. His mark was there, glowing faintly. "My name is Nam Junho. I was a student in Japan. I found a ship in the mountains. When I touched it, this appeared. People started hunting me. I ran. I found this place and hid here." The woman stood up slowly. She was tall and strong. "I am Lee Hyejin. I was an astronaut. 3 years ago on a classified mission to Mars, we found ruins. Ancient ruins. I went inside and activated something. The mark appeared. When I returned to Earth, the government tried to lock me away. They said I was contaminated. I escaped and followed feelings, dreams. They led me here." "The mark shows you things," Jiwan said. "It gives you power." "Yes," Hyejin said. "Strength, speed, knowledge. It grows stronger over time. You learn to use it." The Keeper spoke again. "Now that you have awakened the others, I must show you something. Something important." The walls of the chamber changed. They became like windows looking into space, but not real space. A recording from the past. The Keeper showed them images of the progenitors. Humans who built cities among the stars. Humans who moved through space like gods. Then the images darkened. They showed the Devourer. It looked like a hole in reality. A thing made of hunger and darkness. It consumed everything it touched, worlds, stars, life itself. The Keeper showed them the war. The terrible war that lasted 1,000 years. Ships fighting battles that tore apart space. Weapons that destroyed solar systems. The progenitors won, but barely. They trapped the Devourer in a prison and scattered to survive. "The Devourer is not dead," the Keeper said. "It sleeps, but the Vilrathi Empire has been mining the prison. They do not know what they are doing. But in 20 years, perhaps 30, the prison will fail. The Devourer will wake, and it will finish what it started 10,000 years ago." "How do we stop it?" Mirai asked. "The progenitors left a weapon. 12 great ships called the Dead Fleet. They sleep in hidden places throughout this solar system. To wake them, 7 marked humans must gather at the command ship. It is hidden in the rings of Saturn. Where are the other 3 marked? Jiwon asked. One is in the Australian desert. One is in Siberia. One is in North Korea. Find them. Bring them together. Wake the fleet. It is humanity's only hope. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared. The facility shook. The keeper's voice became urgent. You have been followed. A Velrathi military force is approaching. The traitor among you has called them here. Traitor? Jiwon spun around. What traitor? Daeho's voice came over their communication devices. He was still on the ship. Sorry, Jiwon, I really am. But they have my family. My mother and father. Vrask said he would kill them unless I helped him find you. Daeho, no, Jiwon said. Vrask is here. His ship is approaching the facility. You have 5 minutes before he arrives. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. The connection cut off. Thelvix raised his weapons. We need to get to the ship now. They ran through the corridors. Behind them they heard explosions. Vrask was forcing his way inside. His soldiers were flooding into the facility. Plasma bolts lit up the ancient walls. They reached the airlock, but Velrathi soldiers were already there. Jiwon felt the mark surge. Power flooded his body. He moved faster than eyes could follow. He grabbed soldiers and threw them against walls. Heejin fought beside him. Her mark was older, stronger. She moved like liquid death. Yunyo was slower. His mark had just awakened, but he tried. He picked up a Velrathi rifle and fired. The weapon felt natural in his hands, like he had used it before in another life. They fought their way to the ship, but when they got there, Daeho was gone. He had taken one of the small escape pods. On the control panel was a message. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Tell my family I love them. We need to leave now, Sora said. She was at the controls. Vrask's ship is directly above us. If we do not go now, we never will. What about the traitor? Mirai asked. He made his choice, Jiwon said. His voice was sad. We make ours. Start the ship. The Deep Walker could not fly. It was a submarine built for the ocean, not the sky. They sailed north along the coast of Asia, staying underwater during the day to avoid Velrathi patrols. At night, they surfaced to recharge the ship's power cells using solar panels. Jiwon stood on the deck during one of these night surfaces. The stars were bright. He tried to imagine those stars as they had been 10,000 years ago, filled with human cities and ships, filled with his ancestors. Heejin joined him. She moved quietly for someone so tall. You are thinking about the progenitors. How did you know? Because I think about them too. Every day since I got this mark. She touched her neck. On Mars, in those ruins, I saw things. Memories, maybe, or dreams. A city under a red sky. Ships that moved between worlds like we move between cities. It felt like home. Like I was remembering something I had forgotten. Do you think we can do it? Jiwon asked. Stop the Devourer? I do not know, but I know we have to try. Below deck, Thelvix was working with Sora to plan their route. They had identified the locations of the other 3 marked. One was in the Australian desert. The keeper had given them coordinates. One was in Siberia in an old research station. The third was in North Korea, but the exact location was corrupted in the data. We should go to Siberia first, Sora said, pointing at the map. It is closest. Then Australia. Then we search North Korea. No, Thelvix said. Vrask is not stupid. He will predict that route. He will set traps. We need to split up. Split up? Mirai said. She did not like that idea. We are stronger together. We are also easier to track together, Thelvix said. Vrask knows where the progenitor facilities are. He has the same data we do, maybe more. If we all go to Siberia, he will be waiting. But if we split into 2 groups, we can reach 2 locations at once. We can find the marked faster than he can kill them. Jiwon came down from the deck. He is right. We split up. Heejin, Junho, and I will go to Siberia. The mark makes us stronger. We can handle whatever we find. Mirai, Sora, and Thelvix will take the ship to Australia. Find the marked one there and bring them back. And what about North Korea? Mirai asked. After we regroup. We go there together. They agreed to the plan. When morning came, they surfaced near the coast of Russia. Jiwon, Heejin, and Junho took a small transport boat to shore. They watched the Deep Walker disappear beneath the waves, heading south toward warmer waters. The journey across Siberia took 5 days. They traveled on foot through forests and across frozen plains. Hunyo struggled with the cold at first. His mark was still new, but Hyejin taught him how to use it to regulate his body temperature, how to make the power flow through him like blood. The mark is not just strength, Hyejin explained as they walked. It is connection. Connection to technology the progenitors left behind. Connection to knowledge. Connection to each other. When all 7 of us are together, we will be stronger than you can imagine. They reached the coordinates on the 6th day. It was an old Soviet research station abandoned for decades. The buildings were falling apart. Snow covered everything, but Jiwon's mark pulled him toward one building in particular, a bunker half buried in ice. They broke through the frozen door and descended into the darkness. Emergency lights flickered on as they walked. The bunker went deep, down and down through stone and ice. Finally, they reached a heavy metal door. It was locked. Jiwon placed his hand on it. The mark flared. Ancient mechanisms responded. The door opened with a sound like thunder. Inside was a laboratory, but not a Soviet laboratory. This was progenitor technology hidden beneath the Russian installation. Computers that looked like crystal. Walls that glowed with soft light. And in the center of the room, a woman. She was defending herself against 3 Velrathi soldiers. She moved like a dancer, fast and precise. Her mark glowed bright on her neck. She had already killed 2 soldiers. Their bodies lay broken on the floor. But she was tired, wounded. Blood ran down her arm. The remaining soldiers saw Jiwon and the others. One raised its weapon. Jiwon was faster. He crossed the room in a heartbeat and crushed the soldier's weapon before it could fire. Hyejin and Junho handled the other 2. The woman collapsed against the wall. She was breathing hard. "Thank you. I thought I was dead." "Who are you?" Jiwon asked. "Kim Ariam, I'm a scientist." "Was a scientist. I worked here before the invasion. We were studying old signals, radio waves from space that did not make sense. We found a pattern, an equation. I tried to solve it. When I did, this appeared." She touched her mark. "That was 3 years ago. I have been hiding here ever since. The facility's defenses kept me safe, but Vrask found me yesterday. His soldiers have been trying to break in." "Where is Vrask now?" Hyejin asked. "I do not know. He left after the first attack failed. Said he was going to collect something. I think he meant another marked person." Jiwon's stomach dropped. "Australia. He is going to Australia." They ran back to the surface. Jiwon tried to contact the Deep Walker using their communication device. Static. He tried again. More static. Then finally Sora's voice came through. But it was breaking up. "Under attack. Vrask found us. Can't hold. Australian desert. Need help." The signal died. "We need to get there," Junho said. "Now." "It is 5,000 miles away," Ariam said. "How do we travel that far?" Hyejin smiled. It was not a happy smile. "We steal a Velrathi ship. Just like last time." They found a Velrathi patrol 2 hours later. The patrol had 3 soldiers and 1 small aircraft. The soldiers died quickly. The marked were learning to use their power, learning to work together. The aircraft was theirs. Hyejin could fly it. Her memories as an astronaut included training on advanced systems. She said the Velrathi controls felt familiar somehow, like she had known them in another life. They flew south as fast as the ship could go. It took them 12 hours to reach Australia. They saw the Deep Walker from miles away. It was on land sitting in the red desert sand. Smoke rose from its hull. Velrathi soldiers surrounded it, at least 50 of them. And standing in front of them was Vrask. The Inquisitor looked up as they approached. He smiled. It was a terrible smile. "Perfect," Vrask said through their communication channel. "All the marked in one place. This makes my job easier." They landed the aircraft 100 meters away. As they stepped out, Jiwon saw Mirai and Sora being held by soldiers. Thelvix was unconscious on the ground. His armor was broken. He was bleeding. Vrask gestured to something behind him. Another person was there, a young man about 20 years old with dark skin and hard eyes. He had a mark on his neck too, but he was chained, captured. "This is Song Minho," Vrask said. "The marked from Australia. He fought well. Killed 12 of my soldiers before we subdued him. Such waste, such potential. But I cannot allow you to wake the dead fleet." "You know the Devourer is coming," Jiwon said. "You know it will destroy everything." The fleet is the only way to stop it. Perhaps, Frask said. Or perhaps the Devourer can be reasoned with. Bargained with. My empire has survived for 5,000 years by being smart. By adapting. We will survive this too. But first all the marked must die. There are 7 of us now, Hyejin said. She stepped forward. Her mark was burning bright. 5 here plus the 2 you have captured. We are stronger together than you know. 5? Frask laughed. You only have 4. The traitor engineer told me everything before he died. 7 marked to wake the fleet, but I have already killed one. The child in North Korea, I found her 2 days ago. She was only 8 years old. She cried when I killed her, begged me to stop. But I did my duty. Rage filled Ji-won. Pure burning rage. The mark on his neck exploded with light. Power beyond anything he had felt before surged through his body. He moved. The world became slow. He could see everything. Every soldier. Every weapon. Every path. The mark showed him how to move. Where to strike, what to do. This was what the progenitors had been. This was what humans could become. He hit the first soldier so hard it flew 30 meters. He grabbed another's weapon and tore it in half. He moved like lightning through their ranks. Behind him, Hyejin, Junho, and Aram fought too. Their marks resonated together. They were not 4 separate people anymore. They were one weapon with 4 parts. Vrask fought back. The Inquisitor was strong. Stronger than any Velrathi Ji-won had faced. His blade cut through stone like paper. He moved with centuries of experience. But even he could not stand against 4 marked working together. Ji-won broke his blade. Hyejin hit him in the chest hard enough to crack his armor. Yunyo and Aram freed Minho and the others. Together they pushed the Velrathi back. Soldier after soldier fell, but then something went wrong. Vrask laughed even as he bled. You think you have one? You think killing me matters? I'm not the only hunter. My master knows everything. Everything I learned, he learned. He is coming. With an entire fleet, you cannot fight a fleet. Watch us, Ji-won said. He hit Vrask one last time. The Inquisitor fell and did not get up. The remaining Velrathi soldiers retreated. They ran to their ships and fled into the sky. Ji-won let them go. He was too tired to chase them. Mireille ran to Thelvix. The Velrathi commander was badly hurt but alive. Sora was checking the deep walker. The ship could be repaired, but it would take time. Minho stood and they could not use the deep walker to reach Saturn. It was a submarine, not a spaceship. They needed something else. Something that could travel between worlds. Thelvix was recovering slowly. His armor had protected him from the worst of Vrask's attack, but he needed medical care. Aram helped him using supplies from the ship. While she worked, Thelvix told them about a Velrathi supply depot 300 miles to the east. It has ships, Thelvix said through his pain. Transport vessels. Some are big enough to reach orbit. Big enough to carry all of us. Can we steal one? Sora asked. The depot is guarded, but most of the soldiers will be patrolling outside. If we move fast, we can take a ship before they respond. They decided to go that night. The deep walker could not move anymore. Too much damage. They would have to leave it behind. Mireille insisted on staying with Thelvix. Her mark was still new. She needed time to learn how to use it. We will be fine here, Mireille said. Go, get the ship. Come back for us. Ji-won, Hyejin, Junho, Aram, Minho, and Sora took 2 small vehicles they had salvaged from dead Velrathi soldiers. They drove through the desert at night with their lights off. The moon was bright enough to see. The depot appeared on the horizon after 2 hours. It looked like a small city made of metal, lights everywhere, ships coming and going, hundreds of soldiers. How do we get past all of them? Hunyo asked. We do not, Hyejin said. We go through them. The plan was simple. The 5 marked would attack from the east, drawing the soldiers away from the ships. Sora would use the confusion to steal a transport vessel and pick them up. Simple but dangerous. They moved into position. Ji-won could feel his mark getting stronger. It responded to being near the other marked. They were learning to work together without speaking. Like one mind and 5 bodies, Ji-won gave the signal. They attacked. The Velrathi soldiers never had a chance. 5 marked moving together was like a force of nature. Ji-won tore through a defensive wall with his bare hands. Hyejin moved so fast she was just a blur. Yunyo had learned to use his mark to enhance his aim. Every shot hit exactly where he wanted. Aram disrupted their electronic systems, making their weapons malfunction. Mino used his knowledge of the Australian terrain to predict their movements. The soldiers fell back in panic. Alarms blared everywhere. More soldiers came running, but they all focused on the 5 marked. No one noticed Sora slipping into the hangar bay. She found a transport ship. It was ugly and blocky but functional. The controls were similar to the Deepwalker. She powered up the engines and opened the cargo bay door. "Ship ready," she said over the communication device. "Get to the extraction point." The marked fought their way toward the hangar. Behind them, the depot was in chaos. Fires burned. Structures collapsed. The Velrathi had never faced anything like this. They were used to weak humans who could be controlled, not humans who could tear apart their armor like paper. They reached the ship and jumped inside. Sora lifted off before the cargo door even closed. Plasma bolts splashed against the hull but did no damage. The transport's shields held. They flew back to where they had left Mirai and Thelvix. Loaded them aboard. Then they turned toward the sky. Breaking through Earth's atmosphere was rough. The transport shook and groaned, but it held together. Soon they were in space, looking down at their blue world from above. "I never thought I would see Earth from space," Junho said quietly. "It is beautiful." "It is home," Jiwan said, "and we are going to save it." The journey to Saturn took 3 weeks. The transport was not fast. It was built for carrying cargo, not speed. They used the time to train, to learn their powers, to prepare for what was coming. Hyejin taught them everything she knew: how to use the mark to enhance their bodies, how to interface with progenitor technology, how to share thoughts and feelings through the connection between marks. By the end of 3 weeks, they were not 7 separate people anymore. They were a team, a unit, something more than human but not quite gods. They were what the progenitors had been before the Devourer came. Warriors, protectors, guardians of life. Saturn appeared in the viewport, the giant planet with its beautiful rings. Somewhere in those rings was the command ship, the Eternal Horizon, the key to waking the dead fleet. "Scanning for the ship," Ariam said. She was at the sensor station. "There are millions of objects in the rings. Ice and rock and— wait, I have something. A structure. Massive. It is hiding in the Cassini division." The Cassini division was a gap in Saturn's rings, a dark space between bands of ice. The transport moved toward it carefully. As they got closer, the sensors revealed the truth. The Eternal Horizon was not a ship. It was a city, 5 kilometers long, 2 kilometers wide, made of the same black glass material as the facility in the Philippine Trench. It had been sleeping here for 10,000 years, waiting. They docked at a port on the ship's side. When they stepped inside, lights began to glow. The air became breathable. The ship was waking up. A voice spoke. Not the keeper from the facility, a different AI, older, stronger. "Welcome, children of the progenitors. I am the Eternal Horizon. I have waited 10,000 years for you to come." 7 marked. 7 keys. The time has come to wake the fleet. The ship guided them to the command center. It was a vast chamber at the heart of the vessel. 7 pedestals stood in a circle. Above them, a hologram showed the solar system. "Each of you must stand at a pedestal," the ship said. "Place your hand on the interface. Your marks will activate the wake sequence. But be warned, once you begin, you cannot stop. The process will drain you. You will feel pain. Some of you may die, but if you succeed, the dead fleet will rise." "We did not come this far to stop now," Jiwan said. They took their positions. Jiwan, Hyejin, Junho, Ariam, Minho, Mirai, and Sora. Each stood at a pedestal. Each placed their hand on the glowing interface. The marks flared. Pain shot through Jiwan's body. It felt like fire in his veins. He screamed. Around him, the others screamed too. The ship was drawing power from them, from their marks, from their connection to the progenitors. The hologram changed. It showed 12 points of light scattered across the solar system. Each point was a ship. Each ship began to glow. In the asteroid belt, a dreadnought tore itself free from a massive rock that had hidden it for 10 millennia. In the outer solar system, another emerged from beneath the ice of Europa. One by one, the 12 ships woke. The pain grew worse. Jiwan felt like he was dying. His vision went dark. He could not breathe, but he held on. They all held on, because humanity needed them, because Earth needed them, because the galaxy needed them. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, it was done. The pain stopped. Jiwan collapsed to the floor. Around him, the others collapsed too. The ship's voice was gentle now. You have succeeded. The dead fleet is awake. All 12 dreadnoughts are operational. But you need rest. Sleep now. When you wake, we will teach you how to command them. Jiwan tried to stay awake, tried to stand, but his body would not obey. The world went dark. He dreamed of cities in the stars, of ships made of light, of a time when humans were not hunted, when they were the hunters. He woke up hours later in a medical bay. The others were there too, all alive, all recovering. Thelvix was with them. His wounds had been treated by the ship's advanced systems. You did it, Thelvix said. He sounded amazed. You actually did it. The dead fleet is awake. I can feel it on the Velrathi communication channels. My people are panicking. They thought the fleet was a myth, but now sensors across the galaxy are detecting the ships. Everyone knows. Humanity has returned. Jiwan stood slowly. His body still hurt, but the pain was fading. He walked to a viewport. Outside, he could see 3 of the dreadnoughts. They were beautiful and terrible. Each ship was 3 kilometers long, covered in weapons that looked like art, powered by technology that bent space and time. What happens now? Mirai asked. The Eternal Horizon answered. Now you learn. Each marked will bond with a dreadnought. You will become its captain, its commander. The ships have been waiting for you. They will teach you everything you need to know. Over the next few days, they trained. Each marked bonded with a ship. The ships had names from ancient Earth languages. Jiwan's ship was called the Thunder of Heaven. Hejin's was the Morning Star. Junho got the Stormcaller. Ariam commanded the Void Singer. Minho took the Earthshaker. Mirai bonded with the Sky Dancer. Sora's was the Nightwing. The remaining 5 dreadnoughts would be commanded by the Eternal Horizon's AI until more marked could be found. But 7 was enough. 7 was enough to change everything. They practiced maneuvers, practiced firing the weapons at asteroids. The weapons were beyond anything humans or Velrathi had. Gravity beams that could tear planets apart, shields that existed in multiple dimensions, engines that could fold space. We need to go home, Jiwan said after a week of training. We need to go back to Earth. The Velrathi will fight, Thelvix warned. When they see you coming, they will send everything they have. Good, Jiwan said. Let them come. Let them see what happens when you try to keep humanity down. Let them see what we really are. They left Saturn with all 12 dreadnoughts. The journey to Earth took 2 days. As they approached, they could see Velrathi ships gathering. Hundreds of them. The 6 months passed like a dream. Earth changed faster than anyone thought possible. With the Velrathi gone, humans could finally rebuild. Cities rose from the ruins. Farms grew crops again. Children played in streets that had been battlefields. But everyone knew the peace would not last. The Velrathi war fleet was coming. 5,000 ships carrying the full military might of an empire that had ruled for 5,000 years. Jiwan spent those months preparing. The dead fleet could not stand alone against such numbers. They needed help. They needed allies. The Eternal Horizon's message had reached across the galaxy. Slowly, responses came. The first ally to arrive was a species called the Korvath. They looked like birds made of metal. Their ships were fast and graceful. Their leader, a being named Talrix, bowed before Jiwan. The Korvath remember the progenitors, Talrix said. Your ancestors freed my people from slavery 3,000 years ago. We owe humanity a debt. We will fight beside you. The Korvath brought 200 ships, small but better than nothing. Next came the Nethrim. They were beings of pure energy contained in crystalline bodies. They did not have ships. Instead, they merged with the dead fleet systems, making the dreadnoughts even more powerful. Their leader, an ancient consciousness called Loomis, spoke directly into Jiwan's mind. The Devourer consumed our homeworld in the old war. We have waited 10,000 years for the chance to face it again. We stand with you. More allies came. The Torvek brought mining vessels converted into warships. The Solari contributed their knowledge of dimensional warfare. The Gren, who looked like living stone, offered their warriors. Species that the Velrathi had conquered came too. Seeing humanity's rebellion gave them courage to rebel as well. By the time the Velrathi fleet arrived, Earth had allies. Not 5,000 ships, but 800, and 12 progenitor dreadnoughts that were worth 1,000 ordinary ships each. But there was a bigger problem, one that even the dead fleet could not ignore. Deep space sensors detected something emerging from the outer dark. Something vast and terrible. The Devourer's prison was failing. Faster than predicted, the entity was stirring, reaching out with tendrils of darkness that consumed everything they touched. "We have maybe a year before it breaks free completely," Ariam reported. She had been studying the data constantly. Maybe less. The Velrathi mining damaged the seals more than we thought. Thelvix, who had become an unofficial ambassador between humans and the few Velrathi who wanted peace, brought news. "Not all of my people support this war. Many Velrathi know about the Devourer. They know we caused this. There is a rebellion in the Empire. Factions that want to help Earth instead of destroy it." "How many?" Jiwan asked. "Maybe a third of the war fleet. Perhaps more. If you can convince them during the battle. If you can show them the truth." The Velrathi war fleet arrived on schedule. 5,000 ships emerging from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. They were massive and powerful, each one bristling with weapons. Their commander sent a message: "Humans, you have stolen progenitor technology. You have destroyed Imperial property. You have killed Imperial citizens. Surrender the dead fleet immediately or we will take it by force. You have 1 hour to comply." Jiwan looked at the others. The 6 other marked. His family, his team. They nodded. They were ready. He sent a reply. "We do not surrender. We are not thieves. This technology belongs to us. It always did. Your empire was built on lies. You have kept humanity down because you feared what we would become. Well, now we have become it, and we will not bow." "Then you will die," the Velrathi commander responded. "Maybe," Jiwan said, "but we will take a lot of you with us." He opened another channel. A broadcast to every ship in the Velrathi fleet. "Velrathi warriors, you came here to fight, but ask yourselves why. Why does your empire fear 7 humans with ancient marks? Why have they spent 5,000 years suppressing the truth? The answer is simple. Because they know that if humanity wakes up, their empire falls. But there is something worse coming. Something that will destroy all of us. The Devourer is waking. Your mining operations damaged its prison. In 1 year, maybe less, it will break free. And when it does, it will consume every living thing. Velrathi, human, everyone. The dead fleet was built to stop it. Help us, fight with us, or die with us. The choice is yours." Silence. Then something unexpected happened. Ships began breaking formation. Velrathi vessels started moving away from the main fleet. First a dozen, then 100, then 500. Nearly a third of the war fleet refused to fight. The commander was furious. "Traitors. All of you. The Empire will hunt you down." But Thelvix was right. Not all Velrathi wanted this war. Many of them had been questioning their Empire's lies. Many of them were afraid of the Devourer. Still, that left over 3,000 enemy ships, and the commander was determined. "Attack, destroy them all." The Battle of Earth began. It was unlike anything the galaxy had seen in 10,000 years. 3,000 Velrathi warships against 12 progenitor dreadnoughts, 800 allied vessels, and 500 defecting Velrathi ships. The space around Earth filled with weapons fire and explosions. Jiwan commanded the thunder of heaven through the chaos. His mark burned bright. He could feel the other marked through their connection. They fought as one. The dead fleet moved like a living thing, each dreadnought supporting the others, each captain knowing what the others would do before they did it. The Velrathi fought hard. They were experienced warriors with good technology. They used tactics learned over thousands of years. But they were not fighting ordinary humans anymore. They were fighting the children of the progenitors. Heejin's Morning Star created dimensional rifts that swallowed entire squadrons. Junho's Stormcaller deployed fighters that moved faster than light. Ariam's Void Singer turned the enemy's weapons against themselves. Minho's Earthshaker used gravity weapons to crush ships like tin cans. Mirai's Sky Dancer moved through the battlefield like a ghost. Sora's Nightwing struck from impossible angles. The allied ships fought bravely. The Korvath moved in perfect formations. The Torvek rammed enemy vessels. The Gren warriors boarded enemy ships and fought hand-to-hand. Species that had been conquered by the Velrathi took their revenge. The battle raged for 6 hours. Space became a graveyard. Thousands of ships died. The debris field stretched for millions of kilometers. But slowly, impossibly, the tide turned. The dead fleet was too powerful. The Velrathi could not match progenitor technology. Their numbers did not matter when each dreadnought could destroy 100 ships. Finally, the Velrathi commander's flagship was surrounded. Damaged, weapons offline. Jiwan could have destroyed it, could have killed everyone aboard, but he did not. Instead, he hailed them. "Commander, you have lost. Your fleet is broken. Surrender, join us. Help us face the real enemy." The Velrathi commander's voice was bitter. "You think you have won? You think one battle means anything? The Empire has millions of ships across hundreds of worlds. They will come. They will keep coming until you are dust." "Maybe," Jiwan said. "Or maybe they will see the truth like your soldiers did. Maybe they will realize that fighting among ourselves is stupid when the Devourer is coming. The progenitors built the dead fleet for a reason. Not to conquer. To protect. To defend all life. That is what we are doing. Join us or die. But know that if you die here, you die for nothing." There was a long silence. Then the commander spoke again. Quieter, tired. "What guarantee do we have? How do we know you will not just kill us?" "You do not," Jiwan said honestly. "You have to trust us. Like Thelvix did. Like the 500 ships who refused to fight did. Trust that we are telling the truth. Trust that the Devourer is real. Trust that we need to work together." More silence. "Then we surrender for now. Show us proof of this Devourer. If it is real, we will help. If you are lying, we will find a way to make you pay." "Fair enough," Jiwan said. The battle was over. The Velrathi fleet was defeated, but not destroyed. Most had surrendered. Some had joined humanity's side. A few had escaped back to Empire space. Earth was safe for now. But G1 felt no relief, because the sensors showed something terrible. The Devourer's prison was failing faster. Much faster. They had weeks now, not a year. The mining damage had been catastrophic. The Eternal Horizon gathered all the commanders together. Human, Velrathi, Korvath. All the species who had fought. All the species who would have to fight again. "The Devourer is waking," the ship said. "We must move to the prison. We must try to reinforce the seals. If we fail, everything ends. How do we reinforce it?" the Velrathi commander asked. The dead fleet was designed for this purpose. The 12 dreadnoughts can generate a field that will strengthen the prison, but it requires power. Enormous power. More than the ships have alone. "Where do we get that power?" Heejin asked. The Eternal Horizon was silent for a moment. "Then from the marked, the 7 of you must link completely with your ships. Merge with them. Become one with the technology. You will generate enough power to seal the prison for another 10,000 years. What happens to us?" Yunyo asked quietly.